Hey folks, welcome back to Moto Remy. Yes, to the person that posted a snarky, wise-ass comment, I am going to use that because there's going to be a lot of videos and people aren't going to necessarily start at the beginning. They're not necessarily looking at the fact there's only a few videos and really only 2 subscribers because 2 of them are me. Planning ahead, it's a thing. Anyway, don't worry about it. What I wanted to say was I wanted to clarify my comments about the CB300r because I think I came across inaccurately. And a lot of that has to do with just the disappointment, the annoyance. I filmed that video right after I came back from basically an hour each way to go take a look at that bike and a couple others, and then it turned out they didn't have any of the others. They had a Grom, as I showed you. They had the SV650 I didn't know they had, but there was supposed to have been a number of other bikes at that dealer, and they had just sold them. Like their online system doesn't update to their sales. He said basically, and I'm quoting the salesman, sort of paraphrasing, I guess. He said, when they hit our system, even before they're delivered, they get put online. Very often, they never even make it to the showroom. They are sold to a customer, sight unseen, assembled at the shop, and gone before they even get extra pictures taken of the bike and do a regular listing. So we're not going to do this all looking at me. I'm going to do at my computer with pictures, and I have notes, and we'll go over it. But I figured, I said negative things with my face on camera. I should say, that to some extent I think I was overreacting with my face on camera. I did not like it enough to be like, oh, I don't want the bike. So really, when I added up the things that I was like, if I buy this bike, what am I doing to it in the first month? It was a seat and grips. And really, the grips are probably okay. The ones at the dealer were almost sticky. They were like, you couldn't let your hand slide at all on them, to the point where like if you tried to reposition your hand, you would be stuck to it. Levers, personal preference. There was nothing wrong with the levers. I think the stock levers on most of these bikes are lousy. They look like shit. They are so generic. Okay, I mean, that's not the bike's fault, and certainly it won't impede my ability to ride it. So a seat, and you don't have to spend $500. I found a Corso seat that I thought was gorgeous. They let you customize it, fit all the things I didn't like about that seat. It corrected them. So we'll go over that. What I didn't like about the seat was the angle that it meets the body. It basically has a very squared off profile at the edge, and it's like a hard edge for your body. And even more so, it almost sticks out past the frame of the bike. And it felt like you were basically, instead of being on the bike, you were on the seat, which was then on the bike. And well, I don't know if it was just that one. I don't know if maybe the seat wasn't properly locked in place, but it didn't feel solid. Like you'd get on and it would just have a little shift. And I didn't notice that with any of the other bikes. But none of the other bikes had the seat hang over the edge of the frame. They all tapered off to match the frame. So you weren't having pressure against your legs at the frame. So when I was talking about the CB300R, most of my complaints came down to the seat, the grips, and the kickstand. The geometry stuff, honestly, I was positive about. I felt that it was a little tight once I got on the SV650, which is interesting because I didn't feel that way between the MT-07 and the MT-03. The MT-07 did feel bigger, but I didn't get the same expansion, I guess, on it, which whatever. They all felt perfectly fine. I was not cramped on any of them. On the CB, honestly, I may, if I got one, change the handlebars or just tilt them forward a little bit so that I had a little more forward space for my arms. But I mean, you're talking nitpick here, not something significant. So without going directly between the CB and the MT-03, I would not swear whether one felt more compressed on my upper body or not. It was not a big deal. The space for my legs was my knees. Let's keep that in mind. We're not talking where my feet are. It's the fit with my knees in that tank. I don't feel like there was any kind of comfort issue on either of them. I do want to clarify, none of my negative impressions on the CB, other than the kickstand, are mechanical. They're not things where I'm like, there's something wrong that is going to affect the ride of this bike. The levers I was not a fan of, but I wasn't a fan of the ones on any of the bikes. So no big deal. Overall, I gotta say, the bike is still definitely on my list as a potential ride. I like how it looks. I liked how it fit. The minor things I didn't like are easily fixed. The seat's a little expensive, but I mean, not insanely so. And honestly, I think that I would get used to it. And also, I think a big part of my annoyance with the seat was the fact that it didn't feel solidly in place. And I have a feeling that isn't normal. I have a feeling there was something wrong there. It wasn't screwed down tightly because they were taking it off for service or something. I don't know. So otherwise, that is it for today. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit like. We will eventually get to actual riding content and such, but obviously until I have a bike, that isn't going to happen. So take care, all have fun, stay safe.